This is the moment the WNBA controversy exploded. A resurfaced clip, a wave of backlash, and now, one of the league's biggest stars, Aya Wilson, is at the center of it all. Fans are asking one question: is this just competition, or something much deeper? Because what started as comments about privilege has now spiraled into accusations, division, and a growing feud involving Caitlin Clark, the most talked about rookie in basketball history. And if this situation keeps escalating, it could change the future of the WNBA forever.
Is Caitlin Clark currently the face of the WNBA? Yes. Do I think if A'ja Wilson dropped a shoe and Caitlin Clark dropped a shoe today at the very same time, that Caitlin Clark would outsell A'ja's shoe by 100 times? Yes, I think that would be the case.
To understand this controversy, you need to understand the two names at the center of it. Aya Wilson, a two-time MVP, champion, and one of the most dominant players the WNBA has ever seen. A leader, a superstar, the face of excellence. Then, Caitlin Clark, a generational talent, a record breaker, a player who didn't just enter the league, she transformed it overnight. Sold-out arenas, record-breaking viewership, viral moments every single game. But with that attention came tension. Because while Clark was bringing new eyes to the league, some players began to question how and why she was receiving so much attention.
It looks like we're not going to be seeing Caitlin Clark play basketball again for another 200 days. An ESPN reporter said at the end of the Indiana Fever Connecticut Sun Game 2 that Caitlin Clark almost definitely will not be playing basketball this offseason. So no overseas and no 3-on-3 unrivaled league.
Then everything changed. A clip resurfaced, showing Aya Wilson making comments about players like Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark.
Now, A'ja Wilson was a more dominating player and deserved to be the MVP, and unanimous.
But the tension didn't stop there. Behind the scenes, a bigger battle was unfolding. Nike, one of the most powerful brands in sports, found itself caught in the middle. On one side, Aya Wilson, an established superstar with MVP credentials. On the other, Caitlin Clark, a marketing phenomenon. Reports suggested tension over promotion, because when Caitlin Clark products dropped, they sold out instantly. Meanwhile, conversations began about visibility, branding, and who truly represents the league. For Wilson, it wasn't just about basketball anymore. It was about respect, recognition, and staying on top.
Luckily, I don't play for their approval. I play for God. I play for my teammates. I play for my coaching staff. I play for the people who support me, good game or bad in their opinion. So all that to say, I had a great summer, yeah.
Then came a moment that changed the narrative. Aya Wilson opened up emotionally, admitting the pressure had been building. On-screen quote, "It can get exhausting showing up every day and not feeling valued." For the first time, fans saw vulnerability. Not anger, not rivalry, but frustration. Because despite winning MVP, dominating games, leading her team, she still felt overlooked. And in a league suddenly obsessed with one name, Caitlin Clark, that feeling only intensified.
Oh, Caitlin Clark, Dawn Staley, the great Dawn Staley, who I revere, by the way. But she was playing the way she's playing now. Well, wait a minute. You know she had the potential. You know, playing amongst other stars, with her marksmanship, she could have made big things happen. With her passing ability, she could have made things happen. Then she would have drawn excitement and eyeballs, and people the world over would have been watching her, which would have assisted in the elevation of the WNBA brand, which would have benefited everybody.
Then came another spark. Caitlin Clark wins Rookie of the Year, but not unanimously. One vote went elsewhere, and that single vote triggered massive debate. Was it bias? Was it personal? Or was it proof that the league itself was divided? Names like Angel Reese were pulled into the conversation, and suddenly, every award, every vote, every decision was being questioned.
It's noise that I don't really listen to, honestly, because I'm in season. I have other things that we need to worry about than what other people have to say.
At this point, the WNBA wasn't just dealing with competition. It was dealing with division. Fans began choosing sides. Some defended Aya Wilson, saying she was speaking truth about inequality in sports. Others backed Caitlin Clark, arguing she earned everything through performance and impact. And then came the harsh reality. Games without Clark saw declining interest. Games with Clark sold out. The league was changing fast, and not everyone was comfortable with it.
Somebody coming along and elevating the sport shine ultimately benefits you. Go out there, compete with her, try to bust her up if you want to, and all of that stuff. Just don't hate on the acclaim that she's getting.
So now the question is this just competition? Or is this something deeper? Because history shows every time a new superstar rises, there's resistance. But this situation feels different. It's not just about talent. It's about identity, opportunity, and the future of the sport.
Somebody that's come along, who, by the way, I'm going to go there, who happens to be white, and brought a level of attention and allure to the sport it had not received before. And what we were seeing from an abundance of folks appeared to be resentment.
Looking ahead, the stakes couldn't be higher. Caitlin Clark's next season is already one of the most anticipated in WNBA history. Aya Wilson, still in her prime, still dominant, still determined. And if these two paths collide again, it won't just be a game. It'll be a statement for the league, for the fans, for the future of women's basketball.
If you really feel like Angel Reese was the Rookie of the Year, then just own it. I don't care. I don't think Caitlin Clark's going to care.
One thing is clear. This story is far from over. Because whether you support Aya Wilson or Caitlin Clark, you're witnessing a turning point in sports history. A moment where talent, attention, and controversy collide. And the outcome could redefine the WNBA forever.
I don't agree with it. I thought she would be unanimous. I mean, it's not even close. Because I said the most important person in the league is Caitlin Clark. And should be a top 5, if not, it should have been a top 3 MVP candidate.
But the tension didn't stop on the court. It moved into something even bigger. Business, branding, and power. Behind the scenes, a silent battle was unfolding, one that most fans didn't see at first. Because when you talk about modern sports, you're not just talking about talent anymore. You're talking about influence, visibility, marketability. And at the center of it all was Nike, one of the most powerful sports brands in the world, a company that doesn't just follow trends, it creates them. For years, Aya Wilson had been one of their key faces in women's basketball, a champion, a proven MVP, a player who had earned her place through dominance, consistency, and leadership. She represented excellence. So naturally, many expected her to remain at the forefront of Nike's WNBA marketing strategy. But then, Caitlin Clark arrived, and everything changed. Almost overnight, Clark became more than just a rookie. She became a phenomenon. Her games started selling out arenas. Her highlights flooded social media. Her name started trending after nearly every performance. And then came the moment that really caught everyone's attention: her merchandise drops.
Pretty impressive for Caitlin to win Rookie of the Year in a dominant fashion when it is going to be one of the great rookie classes in the history of the league.
Products tied to Caitlin Clark began selling out fast, in some cases within minutes. And that's when the conversation shifted. Because now, this wasn't just about basketball skill anymore. This was about demand, about numbers, about who was actually driving the audience. Inside Nike, this created a complicated situation. On one hand, they had Aya Wilson, a loyal athlete, a decorated champion, and someone who had already proven herself at the highest level. On the other hand, they had Caitlin Clark, a rising superstar with explosive popularity and massive commercial potential. Two different stages of greatness, two different types of value, and one difficult decision. Who do you push forward? According to reports and growing speculation, this is where tension began to build. There were whispers that Aya Wilson wasn't entirely happy with how the spotlight was starting to shift.
I would have loved to have been valued as a basketball player. I would have been loved to have been spoken about just for my play. I think everybody in the league can say that. But nobody ever let us do that. So what happened? We started to build a backbone.
Not necessarily because of jealousy, but because of what it represented. Because from her perspective, she had already done everything the league asks of a superstar. She had won. She had led. She had delivered. And yet, suddenly, the conversation was being dominated by someone who had just entered the league. That kind of shift doesn't go unnoticed, especially at the highest level. Meanwhile, Nike had a business reality to deal with. Caitlin Clark wasn't just popular, she was profitable. Her ability to attract new fans, especially younger audiences, was undeniable. And in today's sports world, attention equals revenue. So while Nike had to maintain loyalty to established stars like Wilson, they also couldn't ignore the numbers that Clark was generating. This created what many insiders described as a balancing act, a delicate situation where every move mattered. Push Clark too hard and risk alienating veteran stars. Hold back Clark and risk missing a massive cultural moment. And for a time, it seemed like Nike hesitated. Their promotion of Caitlin Clark wasn't immediate or overwhelming. Some fans even noticed the delay. They began asking questions. Why wasn't the most talked about player being fully marketed? Why the silence? Why the slow rollout?
Not perfect.
She's not perfect. She's a rookie in this league.
Speculation grew that internal pressure from multiple sides was influencing these decisions. And that's when the narrative took another turn. Because now, the conversation wasn't just about players anymore. It was about control, about who gets the spotlight and why. Eventually, Nike made their move. They began featuring Caitlin Clark more prominently. Campaigns started rolling out. Social media